A big update is coming to Overwatch in its next patch. Hot on the heels of the popular Capture the Rooster mode that debuted for their Year of the Rooster event, Overwatch is not only adding the mode to the regular arcade, but is also greatly expanding the customizable game functions for all modes. The new mode will let players create custom games tweaked to their preferences, letting them adjust cooldown, speed, damage, and more. This can even be done at the individual character level, letting you design boss battles or other creative scenarios. In other video game news, Capcom has announced their second new fighter for Street Fighter V's second season. Set for release on February 28th, Kolin is a cold-hearted Russian that first appeared in Street Fighter 3 as a background character attached to Gil. Getting promoted from background character to playable fighter, Kolin's style focuses on ice-based counterattacks. And while the live-action Resident Evil movie franchise may be done, the CGI tie-ins are still rolling out. Sony announced this week that Resident Evil Vendetta will see a theatrical release this summer, and while no information about the domestic release has been revealed, the movie is set for release in Japan on May 27th. And Resident Evil isn't the only horror franchise getting adaptations. Netflix added Castlevania Season 1 to their 2017 list of upcoming titles. Virtually nothing is known about the project so far outside of the fact that it's being produced by Adi Shankar, who produced that gritty Power Rangers fan film a while back. On Facebook, Shankar announced that Warren Ellis wrote the first 2 seasons of the show, and Shankar has offered his personal guarantee that Castlevania will be the Western world's first good video game adaptation. Speaking of Netflix, a real trailer has finally surfaced for Iron Fist. His name is Danny Rand, and after 10 years in hell, he's come home with one goal: to save his city. That sounds familiar. Due out March 17th, Iron Fist will be the last of the 4 Marvel Netflix franchises setting up the Defenders. In other Disney news, good news for those that got depressed when facing the reality that Avatar's Pandora wasn't real. You'll get the next best thing on May 27th when Disney's Animal Kingdom opens up their new expansion, Pandora, the World of Avatar. The theme park expansion will offer a boat ride through the alien rainforest with plenty of food and merchandise options along the way to deposit your Earth money. Hopefully, the Pandora expansion will tie visitors over until 2019 when Disneyland and Disney World both open their Star Wars-themed attractions. And finally, John Carpenter announced this week that Halloween is coming back. Jason Blum, who's produced Paranormal Activity along with the Insidious and Purge franchises, approached Carpenter with David Gordon Green, who directed Pineapple Express, and Danny McBride with a pitch to revive Michael Myers. Green will direct the movie and write the script along with McBride, while Carpenter will serve as executive producer and possibly do the music for the film. The new Halloween movie is scheduled for 2018, but for movies closer to release, this week we have the domestic debut of The Great Wall. Matt Damon and William Dafoe find themselves on the right side of the wall and apparently have to help save China from a legion of demons. Now that the movie is hitting American shores, we'll finally be able to see if all the preemptive complaining about the white savior trope was warranted. And speaking of white saviors, John Oliver returns to HBO this week for the 4th season of Last Week Tonight, though I can't imagine he'll have anything to talk about. It's not like anything big has happened since the last time he was on the air. Meanwhile, the robot Uprising continues on AMC with the 2nd season of Humans. Set in a world that was clearly unfamiliar with sci-fi concepts, the show details the struggles of rogue AI that gain sentience and aren't quite sure what to do with it. And over on Netflix, the long-awaited 2nd season of The 7 Deadly Sins finally comes out on February 17th, so get ready for some absurd displays of power and more than a little bit of fan service. In video games, if you want a closer look at epic battles, For Honor comes out this week, putting you in the middle of a conflict between knights, Vikings, and samurai. And on the sillier side of the spectrum, there's Holy Potatoes, We're in Space, which kind of looks like FTL Faster Than Light if FTL let you put a cow on the side of your spaceship. For tower defense this week, we have Depreciation Tough Days. The description says it's a zombie-themed tower defense game, but the camera has panned out so far that I guess we'll just have to take their word for it. And finally, while it's usually not up my alley, I have to admit that Adventures on the Polluted Islands has caught my attention. I guess if you're gonna play an over-the-top adventure game, you may as well play one that puts you in the role of a crab with a boomerang. Wrapping things up with this week's CGBros video, we have Blood Ties. It's a super pretty but super dark look at a dysfunctional birthday party. And that leaves us with this week's awesome video, a behind-the-scenes look at the shooting of Avengers Infinity War, going over everything that's led up to Marvel Studios' most ambitious project yet.
This is our first day. Here we are in Pinewood in Atlanta, and it's actually pretty unbelievable.
Day one of what promises to be a year of fun-filled lensing.
And that's everything for this week, so what did you think of Capture the Rooster mode? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, pass this video around to your friends, and have a great Valentine's Day.